Animation on YouTube is a dynamic and evolving space, driven by the creativity and innovation of its creators.
Fuck this! I'm getting out of here, man.
Animation has given rise to many creators, such as the Odd Ones Out and Jaden Animations. However, like every community on YouTube, there is always that one individual who gets revealed to be quite the problematic person behind the scenes. That is why in today's video, I'm going to be covering the controversies of one of the biggest freaks in the animation community. This is the depravity of James Bear. Now, James Bear's success story is quite straightforward. James created his channel in 2013 and at first began uploading an animated video series called Jam World, a series heavily inspired by the cartoon show Eddsworld. Throughout several years, James's channel garnered some exposure by making animations for other YouTubers such as Pyrocynical. In 2017, James began uploading a new animated series on his channel called Claire and James, which were short skit animations of James and his girlfriend Claire. 2 years later, and 2019 would be the year his channel exploded in views and subscribers. After animating videos on the subject of No Nut November, James would continue to upload animations and slowly grow his channel, until March 2022, the year that would be the beginning of the end of James Bear's career. One day, an unhinged man named Aaron Preston created an 182-page Google Doc against James Bear. What Aaron had exposed was a conversation he had with James on Twitter back in October 2016, meaning James was around the age of 19. The leaked DMs revealed how James was depressed and stated how he was jealous of Aaron, as at the time Aaron was dating Claire, someone James claimed to have a crush on. But what caught everyone's attention was the fact that James told Aaron that he had sex with his sister. It all began in February 2013 when I began to get a little friend called depression. I didn't know at the time, and I did something terrible. I had sex with my sister, which at the time I was 13 and she was 9. Fuck, if it makes you feel better, I'm suffering emotionally. And I did it because of depression. Someone told me that depression can't make you do things, and we've been doing till between 2015 and 16. And I know it's still affecting me. In 2014 I got beat up outside in the cold winter night and I got sick. And that sickness could have killed me. And 2015 I got sick again, but while I was sick I cried myself to sleep and I began to lose friends. My depression kept getting to me, my dad emotionally abused me too, and so January 23rd, 2016 I began to feel like shit, and I nearly took my own life, but I didn't, and went to sleep. My friend Alex, I told him on that day that I should and I forget to tell him that I'm gonna sleep, got worried and phoned the RCMP and they took me to the hospital and they were checking on me to see if I'm okay. But I was. So yeah, I got sick again, but I'm okay. So yeah, that's what happened, but don't tell anyone, by the way. Nevertheless, the Google Doc blew up and caused multiple YouTubers to cover the situation. And because the drama became so big, James Bear was forced to respond several times. Most viewers hoped that these DMs were either fake or that James had lied to Aaron for some reason. Unfortunately, James confirmed on his Twitter the story he told Aaron was true. First of all, I would like to apologize to those who are upset and disgusted by some of the claims that are being thrown at me by what appears to be a premeditated attack on me as a person. Second, I'm ashamed for what occurred in my past and I'm working towards being a better human being. However, the claim of me being a pedophile, rapist and a molester is not true. The amount of harassment and threats that I've been receiving because of this is astronomical. Third, about my past. As much as it pains me to confront it, my past was never meant to be public knowledge and was leaked 5 years ago by a person who hated my guts for ridiculous reasons, which is why that document exists. It was a childish attempt on trying to make me break up with someone they liked and wanted back. As time went on, and after dealing with this situation on multiple occasions within the last 5 years of my life, I'm being labeled as a monster yet again, and I'm forced to respond to these people. Because I don't need to tell you, I don't owe you any more attention because I'm trying to be a better human being each passing day, and again, those who have ill will against me, I'm sorry. I'm flawed just like everyone else. This will be my 5th and final response to all of this. I'm tired of having to deal with it once again, and I want to move on with my life. However, James Bear would contradict himself in another response by claiming that he and his sister had only sex once, whereas in the leaked DMs he claimed it happened several times between 2015 and 2016. Also, I find it disgusting how James claims what he and his sister did was consensual, when last time I checked, children cannot consent. Personally, I view this as James just trying to damage control the situation. James further responded by uploading a now deleted video titled Clearing the Air, explaining how the person who released the doc was initially blackmailing him, although I don't know how that's relevant to the fact he had sex with his sister. James also made a rather interesting point about how people online cannot criticize him due to the situation being no one's business.
This situation is old news, and despite what you think about all of this, no one has any right to judge my past, because it was never anyone's business to begin with, since it was a very personal situation. It was only brought up by various people as a scapegoat to attack me as a person.
I mean, the situation is public now, James, and the fact that you did something so disturbing needs to be highly questioned. Unfortunately, this situation would worsen in time. In January 2024, James would black out both his Twitter and YouTube. Shortly after, someone claiming to be James Bear's sister came out with a Google Doc on Twitter, talking about their alleged experience with him growing up. The only evidence this Twitter account had to prove that they were James's sister was by showing images of James's computer setup and his silver YouTube play button. I'm writing this doc to come forward with my abuse that my disgusting piece of shit brother James Bear has done to me. Yes, I'm unfortunately his sister and I despise that greatly. Before any of you guys think this is another cassette girl situation, no it's not. Unlike Lex, I actually have proof and everything lines up. At the age of 9, I was raped by James. I don't remember much about it, but that was when it started. It continued for a long time, especially past 2016. James lied about that part when he addressed this shit. I wish I had done something to stop him, but I couldn't fight back. I was a weak young girl whose innocence was stolen by a sick bastard of a sibling. No one was there to protect me. I had no one to trust or get support from. And if I had said something to my parents, they probably would have gotten mad at me and not put James far away from me. One time in 2019 when I was lashing out at my mum, I told her what James did to me and she was like, forget about it and move on or some shit. Don't you know how damaging that was for me to have my own mum say that to my face? This wasn't even the first time where she didn't punish my siblings harshly. When I was 11, I told my mum that my second oldest brother was being weird to me and she got mad at me when she noticed I was only wearing my bra and panties, and when she confronted him, she didn't call the police. She just let him off with a slap on his wrist and started taking me on trips whenever we would visit my oldest brother at a university dormitory. Not looking good for my mum. She should have protected me and been there for me. Remember when I said James continued sexually assaulting me for years? Well, it was still happening at the height of his popularity when he released his No Nut November animation in late 2019. While you were watching, I was being sexually assaulted. In the document, James's sister went into more detail about what he allegedly did to her, but I'm not going to cover it in this video as it truly is disgusting and disturbing if any of these events ever transpired. Shortly after, the Google Doc was taken down, and James's sister publicly apologized for lashing out against her family. Although if the experiences she told were true, then I believe there's no need for her to apologize at all since she's clearly a victim of alleged sexual abuse. Several weeks later, a third Google Doc would be dropped on James Bear, although the subject matter would not be about his sister, but allegations of James allegedly manipulating, stalking, and harassing Claire. This is a document made to spread awareness about the actions of James Bear. James is a former YouTube animator best known for animated skits he made with his ex-girlfriend Claire. James was previously caught in controversy surrounding allegations of incest with his younger sister, and now over the past couple months, he has been emotionally manipulating and bullying his ex-girlfriend, as well as harassing multiple others in her friend group. This has reached the point where he even made an alt account just to try and shame Claire and her friends by posting screen caps he bullied her into giving him. James has been in contact with Claire for up to 9 years, even though the controversy brought about from the allegations of him and his sister, which he no doubt lied to Claire about the full extent of. Despite this, the two have never met in person, and have only spoken to each other in private or over voice and video chats. The document showcases several screenshots of James allegedly having outbursts against Claire and acting as if he were a victim. When Claire would block James, he would either email Claire or make alt accounts to try and contact her again. Why the hell did you block me? What did I do? You're acting very vindictive about all of this and you are not being fair. Why are you hurting me like this? I thought we were going to be friends. Answer me now. What are you plotting this time? Why are you going out of your way to bury me like this? The document also explained how Claire had apparently tried to end her relationship with James for years. Despite that, James would try to weasel his way back into the relationship. After eventually cutting James off, Claire got into another relationship. After James had learned this, he allegedly bullied Claire into sending him personal DMs between her and the significant other. James then allegedly created a Twitter account called Yunokosi, where he again allegedly leaked these DMs, pestering Claire about her new relationship. James even went as far as to draw and share art of Claire, where her character constantly insults James when James does nothing but show affection towards her. In March 2024, a random Twitter account called Ringo began making tweets discrediting the Google Doc written on James, by claiming that Claire was the true emotional abuser and that the document written by James's sister was a lie. The reason this Twitter account was brought up in the doc is because it alleges that this Twitter account was either James or one of his acquaintances. James Bear is one of the most, if not the most controversial animated channels on YouTube. Although James's reputation was tarnished by his disturbing past coming to light, he worsened the situation by allegedly stalking and harassing his ex-girlfriend. With all these accusations and experiences, it is uncertain if James will ever be able to make a comeback to YouTube.